This hour for you on Daybreak, the city of Ozark discusses the possibility of a mask mandate with a vote to come next week. Also for you, why a potential apartment building is raising safety concerns and how an Ozark family is trying to bring awareness to children with cancer. We'll have these stories and more all coming up for you this morning here on Daybreak. Welcome in, everyone. It is Tuesday. It's August 11th. I'm Joe Morano. Jennifer Abreu with the morning off here, but we're here to get you going and get you through into that middle of the week stretch. Meteorologist Elisa Raffa is here with us too, and the pool days are getting limited for these kids that are going to have to deal with school, Lisa, right?
Yeah, that is true, right? School time coming up soon here. We are starting out dry in Branson this morning. Some dry roads. It is warm and humid. 72 degrees in Branson right now with these dew points in the middle and upper 60s. So it is pretty sticky. Most of us are dry. We do, though, have a cluster of storms that has really developed and grown in size just to the east here of I-44, right over Plato, Fort Leonard Wood, back towards Grove Spring and Phillipsburg. All of this red and purple is some locally heavy rain, and you've got many lightning strikes here. So some tough visibility out on the roads there this morning with the very heavy downpours, so be careful. You're dry in Springfield and elsewhere. It might be sprinkling in Springfield. It's 70 degrees in West Plains, 74 in Ava, and 73 degrees in Monette. Coming with humidity, all those oranges on the muggy meter map. For the road conditions are going to depend because the storms will be pretty scattered. So like this morning, if you get one of these storms, you'll have some very heavy downpours. Otherwise, you'll be dry. Out at the pool today, you'll have some scattered showers and storms with those temperatures getting into the upper 80s. Not too much in the way of severe weather for us. The threat really focuses near and south of the state line. We have many storm chances to talk about, though. We'll do that coming up in 10 minutes. Joe?
Still tracking some breaking news for you now. One person is in critical condition after being shot earlier this morning. It happened in the 1000 block of West Division Street before 12:30 a.m. Springfield police say an altercation happened between two people in a home. Then it moved outside where the suspect pulled a gun and shot the victim. The suspect and a third individual from the house have fled the scene. Police do not believe the public are in any danger, though. Last night, the city of Ozark got resident opinion about a masking ordinance with a second reading on the bill and a vote to come on August 17th. This comes almost a month after Springfield passed its own ordinance and a few weeks after Nixa decided not to. The meeting was moved to the community center to help in distancing for anticipation of larger crowds. Masks were required inside that meeting as 30 people signed up to speak.
I have parents that are high risk, and I have a daughter that's high risk, and I want them to live to see their next birthday. And to me, that is absolutely the most important thing.
An attorney for the city of Springfield is asking a judge to dismiss a lawsuit over Springfield's mask ordinance. The city says the plaintiff, Rachel Shelton, does not have the standing to say this is unconstitutional. The city's motion to dismiss says because the plaintiff suffers from claustrophobia, she does not have to wear one. And for that reason, a judge should not grant her request for a temporary restraining order. The documents say Springfield health and city officials are within their rights to issue an ordinance in order to protect public health. Springfield City Council discussed an issue that could impact the Sequiota Park area. If the bill passes, the area will be rezoned for a planned development, which at this point would be built into an apartment complex. The Planning and Zoning Board members recommend approval to council members, and the plan will preserve some existing buildings. People who live in or have businesses in this neighborhood are concerned about development there. They say an apartment complex would bring in too many people or too much traffic and will also cause the neighborhood to become unsafe.
You have people here who are lifelong residents of Galloway back when it was its own place, when it was its own village. I would hate to see them leave, but that's the situation that we're creating. We have working people who pay property taxes and who spend money in our community, and they're just really tired of not being heard.
There will be a second public hearing about rezoning in the Galloway neighborhood in the next city council meeting. On to some political coverage for you. Lawmakers in Jeff City continue to discuss Senate Bill 1, which is the governor's anti-crime package. It includes 6 provisions that the governor says will reduce crime in the state. This as the special session continues up there about violent crime here. The Senate passed the bill Friday morning with a vote of 27-3. Those 3 no votes were 3 Democratic senators from St. Louis. Now it's the House's turn to take up the bill. One of the major points of discussion is residency requirements for St. Louis City police officers and trying a 14-year-old as an adult for certain crimes.
It's about violent crime, and that is a topic that has been manipulated in ways over the past that it really does rub salt into the wounds at a time when there are protests going on.
The city of St. Louis is about 62 square miles, which does not give us a lot of acreage to look at. It reduces the population.
The House is expected to debate this bill later on this week. New for you this morning, one family in the Ozarks is using the loss of their son as a way to bring awareness and research to childhood cancer. This morning, Nija McDonald is joining us live in studio to share the family's story. Nija.
Yeah, Joe, good morning. This is Oliver Wells, better known as Ollie by his parents and siblings. Ollie's life was cut short when he was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma at just 15 months old. By all accounts, Oliver was a normal 1-year-old.
He was our fourth, our youngest child, was, hyper wild into everything.
But in the course of 24 hours, everything changed for the Wells family.
Had a cold that we just couldn't get to go away, and finally got some tests run with his pediatrician, found a mass in his abdomen.
Oliver was diagnosed with an aggressive form of nervous system cancer.
It was highly aggressive. He had stage 4 neuroblastoma. He had lesions in his lungs. He had it in his bone marrow.
The family picked up and moved to Houston, where Oliver received treatment for the next 13 months.
It's really rough, but these kids, and Oliver in particular, is really, he was so tough. He would recover really quickly. And he would always be the one who would bring us out of those hard times.
Unfortunately, Oliver relapsed and passed away a few weeks later. The family, after having went through the unimaginable, wanted to find a way to give back, which prompted them to set up a fund in Oliver's name.
We just wanted other families that have to go through this to have more options than we did, more treatment options, more clinical trials, more research into ways to help.
Wells says doing so has helped in the family's healing process.
We miss him terribly every day, and this is a way for us to remember him and honor him. And he was a fighter, so we just want to keep fighting on in his name and in his honor.
Well, worldwide, every 2 minutes a child is diagnosed with cancer, which is roughly 300,000 children per year. You can visit our website at ozarksfirst.com to learn more about the Oliver Wells Fund for neuroblastoma.
Thank you very much, Nija. To some news around the Ozarks, 3 big events have now been canceled. In downtown Springfield, Arts Fest Days was postponed last spring. It was going to be then combined with Cider Days in mid-September. Now both will not happen until next year. The 40th Arts Fest on Walnut Street will be May 1st and 2nd. Cider Days will be happening next year in September 2021. And in Mount Vernon, Apple Butter Makin' Days is canceled. It's one of the biggest events for the city. A committee is now in place to plan for the festival's return in 2021.
We've got some dry roads in Springfield on our Color 10 Live Drive, just some cloud cover. Looking at, though, a cluster of thunderstorms up the interstate over near Fort Leonard Wood and Plato with some very heavy rain and lightning. Details on additional storm chances for today coming up next.
From Color 10 Ozarks First, Jennifer Abreu, Joe Morano, and weather with meteorologist Alisa Rafa. This is Color 10 News Daybreak.